Hi to all. In this chapter, we are going to discuss regarding the plastic processing. That means, with the help of the plastics, what we will do and what we will manufacture. That manufactured products, how we will use in our day to daily life, and how they are recycled, and how the raw materials will takes place. Like that, we will see the process. So, can you name some of the materials which the household objects are made of? Now we will see some of the plastic objects. See in the screen, now I am showing some of the plastic objects. What are those? I think you can guess easily. Pen, chairs, bowls, and toys, the dice, the plastic fish, and the kids' toys. These all are the plastic objects only. So, which will the plastic objects which we will see in our day-to-day life. So, see the bottom, plastic radio, the TV, paperweight. It's a radio body, and all these all are the plastic objects. I think you all are familiar with these products. See here also telephone, watch, the toys, the spectacles, like that. Plastic objects here, bottles, water bottles, ice cream bowls, CDs, some of these things. So now we'll see the advantages of the plastics. So with the help of the plastics, what we are having the advantages. See the first one, the plastics are lighter. That means it is a light in weight when compared with the wood or the iron or the non-ferrous. By comparing all these things, the plastic is the only which is have the lighter in weight and with a good accuracy. So plastic have a good formability. That means which we can change easily. Its shape to any other. So plastic mold tools are cheaper. The plastic molding tools, these are very cheaper comparing with the ferrous materials. So plastic products are cheaper with a high quality. These are very cheaper, that is with the high quality. Some plastics are hard as the metals. So some plastics are hard as the metals. So now we'll see the introduction to the plastics. So plastics are nothing but a polymers. Plastics are the polymers, synthetic organic materials. See, the plastics are also called as a polymers. Those are the synthetic organic materials. So the polymers are made from the monomers. Plastics are the polymers. Those are nothing but synthetic organic materials, and the polymers are made from the monomers. So the monomers is a small organic molecule. The monomer is nothing but a small organic molecule. Polymerization. The process of linking the number of monomers together to form polymers. What is meant by polymerization? Here we are seeing the process of linking number of monomers together to form a polymers. So the process of linking the number of monomers together to form polymers is called as an polymerization. See in the screen, those are nothing but an monomers. Those are nothing but an monomers. Examples of monomers. What are they? Vinyl chloride, ethylene, and the propylene. The examples of the monomers is nothing but an vinyl chloride, ethylene, and the propylene. So the polymers, the types: polyvinyl chloride, polyethylene, and the polypropylene. The polymers and the types are polyvinyl chloride, polyethylene, and the polypropylene. So plastic pellets. See in the figure, you are seeing the plastic pellets. That means the raw material for the plastic. So the petroleum to the plastics. So this is an complete diagrammatical data. So from the sea, what we will get? We will extract the crude oil. The crude oil is sent to the oil refinery. So oil refinery is a place where the oil will get refinery, that is either into the diesel or the petrol. So from the oil refinery, the particular crude oil will enter into the petrochemical plant. That is the second one which is shown in the figure. So in the petrochemical plant, what will happen? The crude oil it turns into the petroleum products, which may be either the diesel or the petrol. So from that, from the petrochemical plants, the pellets is sent into the plastic factory. Number 3, and from the plastic factory, you are seeing the output products, those are called as ducts. So this is the diagrammatical representation regarding the plastic. So first we'll extract the raw material from the sea, that is called as an crude oil. The crude oil consists of an petroleum products, that may be the either diesel or the petrol. So from the oil refinery, crude oil will get into the oil refinery, that is the number 1, and from the number 2, that is called as a petrochemical plant. So particular petrol or the diesel will enter into the petrochemical plant. From that it will enter, from that the petrol or the diesel or the fuel will get separated and the plastic pellets will get separated. So those are entered into the plastic factory. Now petroleum to the plastics. So the monomers obtained from the petroleum or natural gas. So we will get the monomers which is obtained from the petroleum or the natural gas. Petroleum contains hydrocarbons and other materials. So what does the petroleum contains? The petroleum contains hydrocarbons and other materials. Monomers are produced in the oil refinery. Monomers are produced in the oil refinery. So polymers are produced in the petrochemical plant. So monomers are produced in the oil refinery and the polymers are produced in the petrochemical plant. Plastic objects are produced in plastic factory to form the pellets. So plastic objects are produced in the plastic factory, that is to form the pellets. Now we will see the main types of plastics. So thermosetting plastics and the thermoplastic, these are the main 2 types of the plastics. Thermoplastics, molecular structure, have linear and branched molecular structure. You are seeing the structure clearly in the screen, which is having the first one is a linear and second one is a branched molecular structure, flexible at ordinary temperature. That means at the ordinary temperature it is placed, that means it can easily change its shape. So become pasty liquid mass when heated. So when it get heated, what will happen? It get the pasty or the liquid. So become solid when cold. This is the main property which the plastic is having. When it gets the heating, it turns into the liquid state, and when we cool down, it turns into the solid state. No chemical change occurs during the heating and the cooling. So here we didn't see the no chemical change. It can be reheated to change shape. Examples of thermoplastics: nylons, polyamides PA, polyvinyl chloride PVC, ethylene vinyl acetate EVA, acrylonitrile, butadiene, citrine ABS, polypropylene PP, and polyacetyl. So these are the examples of thermoplastics. Now we will see regarding the nylons. Polyamides properties. So see the chairs which we will see in the offices or in the hospitals, and the bag, camera bag, like that. So properties: semi-crystalline, very tough, have good thermal and chemical resistance. So the properties of a nylon or polyamides are: the first one is an semi-crystalline, second one is an very tough, and third one is an which is having a good thermal chemical resistance. Second, polyvinyl chloride PVC properties. The PVC pipes we will use in our homely purpose, that is for the sanitation or for the tank. So it can be clear or the colored, can be rigid or the flexible. So in the screen you are seeing that different pipes and the tap fittings. At the bottom you are seeing the shoes for the kids with ties. Next, ethylene vinyl acetate properties. Flexible, that means it can change its shape easily. Transparent, good chemical resistance, high friction coefficient, good low temperature and the flexibility. The example you are seeing the helmet. So the plastic what they will call trays, conical flags which we will use in the chemistry labs. Acrylonitrile butadiene citrine ABS, that is also called an ABS properties. So the examples you will see the desktop, car body and the bike body. So the properties: rigid, opaque, glassy, tough, good dimensional stability and easily electroplated. So these are the main properties of an ABS. Next, polyacetals properties. See the examples. What you are seeing here? A small, see the first one we are seeing the door fittings and second one is an watch which will use in the home. In the bottom you are seeing the compressor bodies, the doors and the turbine bodies. So the properties of polyacetals are rigid, translucent, tough and spring like qualities. That means easily when the pressure of the load applied on it, it get easily extend. Next, thermoset. So thermosets have very tight meshed molecular structure. So it is having the very tight meshed molecular structure, undergo chemical change during the heating. What is happening here? When the thermal stress or when it is subjected to the thermal, it undergoes a chemical change. Curing takes place during the shaping. So what will happen during the shaping? It will get cured. Are rigid and will not soften by the reheating. So those are the rigid and not softened by reheating. Can be molded only once. What it's saying? It can be molded only once. And further process or for the cycling, it is not suitable. For the recycling, that is not suitable. So further shaping may be done by the machining. Shaping may be done by the machining. So the examples of thermosets are vinyl esters, phenolics, melamine, epoxies, acrylics and alkyds. These are the examples of an thermosets. Vinyl esters. See on the screen, you are seeing the model of an windmill and the bottle. This is the example for now which we are using, sanitizer bottle, hand wash bottle. These are the bodies of turbine plastic models. So the properties: rigid, translucent, good corrosion resistance and the low viscosity. What are they? Those are rigid, translucent, good corrosion resistance and the low viscosity. These are the properties of an vinyl esters. Now phenolics. See the examples, doom light for the bike, motor body, plastic one. So these are the examples. Properties: hard, brittle, opaque, good electrical resistance, good heat resistance, and resistance to deformation under load. So what are the properties? We will see the once again: hard, brittle, opaque, good electrical resistance, good heat resistance, and the resistance to deformation under the load. Now we will see the melamine and its properties. See the examples: office racks, the table. Those are the examples of melamine. Properties. Now we will see: hard, opaque, tough, scratch resistance, self executing, and resistance to detergents and dry cleaning solvents. We will see once again: hard, opaque, tough, scratch resistance, self extinguishing, resistance to detergents, and dry cleaning solvents. Now we will see the epoxies. So on the screen you are seeing the aeroplane body. So properties we will see: rigid, clear, very tough, chemical resistance, good adhesion properties. Once again we will see: rigid, clear, very tough, chemical resistance, and the good adhesion properties. So these are regarding the epoxies. Epoxies products, uh, paints can, or in the outside we will see we will buy the card of 5 to 10 liters. Further they will give this type of the can. This is the example. Next, acrylics. The examples is an glass. In the bottom you are seeing the small bottle, the cap. So the properties: hard, transparent, abrasion resistance, good electrical insulation, good chemical properties, and the good mechanical properties. We will see the once again: hard, transparent, abrasion resistance, good electrical insulation, good chemical properties, and the good mechanical properties. Next, all kits. The screen you will see the iPod. At the bottom you will see the turbine and the compression bodies. Example, properties: rigid, tough, heat resistance, good long term dimensional stability, and good color stability. Rigid, tough, heat resistance, good long term dimensional stability, and good color stability. Now we will see regarding the plastic additives. So makes plastics easier to process. So with the addition of the plastics, the extra thing which will add to the plastic is called as an plastic additives. So by adding the additives, what will happen means makes plastics easier to process. That means easy for the processing. So make plastics look good. That is for the appearance. Make plastics safe and the sound. That is regarding the quality. So make plastics clean and the healthy. Make plastics work longer, duration. So now we'll see the plastic additives. What are they? Impact modifier, flame retardants, and the mineral fillers. These are the three different plastic additives. First, we will see the impact modifier. So it prevents the plastic from the cracks under the impact load. What it will do? It will prevent the plastic from the cracks under the impact load. The impact load is nothing but a suddenly falling load. Impact load is nothing but a suddenly falling load. So flame retardants makes plastics non-inflammable. What it's saying? Makes plastics non-inflammable. Flammable and the inflammable. I think you already know this meaning. Next, mineral fillers increase rigidity, improves electrical properties, increase the thermal conductivity. So these are the plastics additives. So additives makes plastics easier to process. What are they? We'll see. Process aids improve physical and chemical properties. Lubricants reduce viscosity between the mold and the plastic melt. Antioxidants, it prevents spoil the color, weaken at higher temperature. Heat stabilizers, stop decomposing during the processing. Heat stabilizers stop decomposing during the processing. Additives makes plastic look good. So pigments makes plastic look more attractive, increase safety factor. So with the addition of the pigments, what will happen for the plastics? It will get look more attractive and increase the safety factor. Additives makes plastics clean and healthy. We will see. The plasticizers are non-toxic stabilizer, make plastic good looking, cling film and the non-toxic. So anti-static agent do not attract dust or the dirt. By adding the anti-static agent, the plastics which they do not attract dust or the dirt. Additives makes plastic work together. So non-fading pigments help plastic to hold color for many years. So by adding the non-fading pigments, what will happen for the plastic? It helps the plastic to hold the color for many years. Light stabilizers, UV absorbers, antioxidants. So they ensure constant high performance. Light stabilizers, UV absorbers, antioxidants. They ensure high constant performance. This is regarding the plastic processing. Now we will see one video which I have taken from the source YouTube. So this figure illustrates the extraction of plastic.
Welcome to GNP Animations. In this video, we are going to learn how plastic is made from crude oil. It involves many steps, but in this video, we are going to see 5 steps. Step 1. Extraction of crude oil. Step 2. Refining of crude oil. Step 3. Production of ethene. Step 4. Polymerization of ethene to get polyethylene. Step 5. Polyethylene converts into plastic pellets to make wide range of plastic products. In the process of crude oil extraction, the pump, which mainly contain power shaft, cranks, walking beam, horse head, polished rod, extracts oil from the earth. Inside the earth, the pump has casing, valves, etc. This complete extraction process has maximum safety precautions because crude oil contains many flammable chemicals. The extracted crude oil is sent to the factory and transported in the form of cans. And the next step is refining the crude oil. The crude oil is sent through the preheater, that boils the crude oil and sent to furnace. By the refinery process, we get resid, lubricant oil, diesel, kerosene, petrol, naphtha, LPG, etc. And naphtha is our main product in plastic production. They are collected in different sections. Ethene is the most important substance in making of plastic, and ethene is made from naphtha. To make ethene, naphtha is sent to naphtha cracking center. There, naphtha is heated up to 800 degrees centigrade by using steam crackers. In quenching process, naphtha is break down into hydrocarbons. Then it is compressed and refined. We get ethene, propylene, butadiene, petroleum ether, etc. By this process, we made our important product in plastic production, that is ethene. And the next step, ethene is converted into polyethylene by the process of polymerization. First, the ethene is compressed and cooled. Then it is now dense, almost like liquid. It is sent to the reaction chamber. In the reaction chamber, initiators are added. Initiators means a substance which start chain reaction. Then polymerization takes place. By this process, the ethene converted into polyethylene. The polyethylene sent to a chamber that adds antioxidants and stabilizers. Then the polyethylene is get into the extruder, which converts polythene into polythene strings. The polythene strings are passed through the grinder or pelletizer, which converts polythene strings to polythene pellets, means plastic pellets. These plastic pellets are sent to other factories. They melt the pellets and molded into a wide range of plastic products. And this is the story of how plastic is made from crude oil. For more educational and animation videos, subscribe to our channel.
Plastic processing stages. Those are the three: heating, shaping, and the cooling. Heating, shaping, and the cooling. These are the three plastic processing stages. So, plastic process selector factors: quantity and production rate, form and details of the products, size of the final product, dimensional accuracy and the surface finish, nature of materials. We will see once again: quantity and production rate, form and details of the products, size of the final product, dimensional accuracy and surface finish, nature of the materials. Plastic processing methods. Those are molding methods, forming methods, finishing methods, and the recycling. I repeat: molding methods, forming methods, finishing methods, and the recycling. These are the different plastic processing methods. Plastic processing, molding process. Placing molded material in a mold. How we will do? By placing molded material in a mold. Heating the material to the plastic stage. By heating the material to the plastic stage and forcing the material to take the shape of the mold cavity. Cooling the material for rigidity. I repeat: plastic molding material in a mold, heating the material to a plastic state, forcing the material to take the shape of the mold cavity, and cooling the material for the rigidity. Now, the molding methods: compression molding, transfer molding, injection molding, and the blow molding. I repeat: compression molding, transfer molding, injection molding, and the blow molding. Plastic processing, the first one is a compression molding. Now, we will see regarding the compression molding process. So, these are used on thermosetting plastics. Where we will use these on the thermosetting plastics. Heat and pressure applied by molding surfaces. Heat and the pressure, they should be applied by the molding surface. So, molding material is forced to take the shape of the mold. The molding material is forced to take the shape of the mold. Plastics objects are ejected from the mold cavity. Finally, what will happen? The plastic products will get ejected. That means, will get out from the mold cavity. On the screen, we will see the compression molding process. From the from my side, left hand side, I will read the components. First one is an upper movable mold half. The green color, which indicates the charge. Below that, you will see the lower fixed mold half, and the bottom you will see the ejector pin. So, on the top you will see the upper movable mold half, the green color which indicates the charge. Below that you will see the lower fixed mold half, and the bottom you will see the ejector pin. From my right hand side, you will see the output products, which is of a C shaped. It is showing in red color, that is the output product. So, before the process, the raw material which is shown in the green color, and after the process it is shown in the red color. Typical downstroking compression molding press. So, this is the block diagram or the line diagram which we will see in your textbooks. See the parts: hydraulic reservoir, hydraulic piston, movable head, press pillars, mold halves, and the fixed bottom plate. So, this is the typical down stroking compression mold press. So, this is a solid figure which you can see in the screen clearly. Compression mold. So, in this screen you are getting a very good quality figure. So, from the bottom, from the top you are applying the heat and the pressure, that is in the vertical direction. The bottom you are seeing the female mold half. Below that you are seeing the male mold half, and from the bottom also we are applying the heat and the pressure. In between the male and the female, you are seeing the SMC charge. By applying the pressure from the top and the bottom, we will get the required shape. The shape depends upon the mold. See, these are the output products from the compression molding: the sink, electrical switches, cover body, the chair, vessels that which you will see in your fridges, glass which you will see in the bars, a third which indicates the caps, then the fourth one is then shoes for the kids, and the fifth one is then sink. That is the example. So, these are the compressed molding products. So, advantages of compression molding: mold is simple and easy to manufacture. Mold is simple and it is easy to manufacture. No wastage of raw materials. So, in this we did not find the wastage of raw materials. Dimensional accuracy and the surface finish are the good. So, here we will get the good dimensional finish, good dimensional accuracy and the surface finish. Disadvantages of compression molding: not suitable for the products with the intricate shapes, that is nothing but an irregular shapes. For the irregular process or for production of irregular shapes, it is not suitable. Not suitable for thick sections, that means it is suitable only for the thin sections. Not economical for the large quantities, that is it is best suitable for the batch production only. Typical compression molding parts: gaskets, seals, automotive panels, handles, container caps, the fittings and the washing machine housings. I repeat: gaskets, seals, automotive panels, handles, container caps, fittings, washing machine housings. So, this is regarding the compression molding. Now, we will see the video which I have taken from the source YouTube.
Hello viewers, welcome to Engineering Study Materials. Today we are going to discuss about the compression molding process. So let's get into this video. Compression molding process. In this, two dies are present. One is fixed and other is movable. A charge, that is a preform, is placed in the lower die and upper movable mold half can be made to press this charge so that a final product is made, because the lower die is made to design in the sense that the final product should be a correct product. Then the ejector pin can be used to take the product out. This process of molding a material in a confined shape by applying usually pressure and heat. Compression molding process is followed by a two-step, that is preheating and pressurizing. In this, the charge is preheated because the pressure applied is able to is optimum. Otherwise, if we did not preheat this charge, more amount of pressure is to be needed. If it preheats, the charge is made softer, so that the pressure applied is minimum and power loss is reduced. The molds used are made up of a metal. Pressures involved in compression molding are high. Then the common mold material is tooled steel, and these mold surfaces are chrome plated so that the final compound outer surface can be made smoother. Then this is the procedure. Charge is placed in the cavity, mold is closed, pressure is exerted to squeeze the resin, and under the pressure the mold is heated, which cures the resin. Then to manufacture the high volumes of small to moderate size parts, and low void contents is the major advantage, because we use the pressure, it is of high pressure, so that the resin is wetted the inside the reinforcement, so that no pores is present, and amount of scrap is minimum because it is take place in the two mold cavities. Then this is the process. We can also use a powder of a measured amount is placed on the lower mold, then mold closes under heat and pressure, then mold can be opened, then the final product of a sheet metal or etc bulk metal can be obtained by this process. First, the initiator is heat activated, as we said before. Then to prevent premature curing, the molding components are refrigerated, because the shrinkage problems occur due to the heat activated peroxide. Then it is used for making auto body parts, water tanks, electrical enclosures, etc. There are two types of molding components, namely bulk molding components and sheet molding components. Bulk molding components consist of a mixture of resin with short glass fibers and fillers. Small sheet mold components consist of a initiated resin and filler paste is spread wide on a carrier filler, and fiber is chopped and sprinkled across the coated filler. This is also a definition for the sheet molding process. Involves placing a reinforcement such as a glass mat between the sandwiching layers of the thermoplastic and heating the materials to produce a single sheet of material, whereas the bulk molding components are produced by a billet of molten material that is placed onto a compression molding press which molds the molten material into a part. Then this is the diagram for the sheet molding component manufacturing, whereas a paste placed in a container and a carrier film is wound is pulled over the pulley system, and paste is pasted on the carrier film, and the fiber is chopped using a chopper. Then carrier film coated with the paste is coated over the top surface, so that bottom and top are contains a carrier film. Inside it contains the paste with chopped strands. Then it is compacted using the compacted rollers. Then a gamma gauge is present, is used to heat this sheet mold compounds. Finally it is collected in a container. Then the advantages are the low cost, uniform density, dimensional accuracy, short cycle time. Finally, the disadvantages are the curing time is large and scrap cannot be reprocessed, because the scrap consists of the reinforcement and the resin mixture, so that it cannot be separated and can be reused, so that scrap cannot be reprocessed, and high initial capital investment is needed, because the machines involved in this process are of the high cost. Then applications and products are dinnerware, buttons, knobs, appliance housings, and radio cases, automotive, ashtrays, and electrical parts. So this is a short video, friends. If you like this video, please put a thumbs up button and share this video to friends to gain knowledge, and please subscribe this channel for more videos. And so thank you for watching.
Welcome to our compression molding instructional video. Compression molding is a process that uses pressure and heat to form a material into a desired shape. Thermoset materials are often used in this process because the heat and pressure allow the polymer chains to cross-link and form a strong permanent matrix. The steps of compression molding that are covered in this video are safety, necessary equipment, machine, mold, and resin preparation, molding cycle, mold opening and part removal, and of course cleanup. As you can see, the compression molding station is at the back of Western's Plastics Lab. Compression molding uses high temperatures to allow resin to flow and form a part. Be sure to wear hot gloves when using hot objects and working around platens. The high forces the press applies to a mold can easily hurt an operator that is not paying attention. Be sure to keep all body parts clear of the press when it is closing. These steel molds are quite heavy. Be sure to use proper lifting and carrying techniques when moving the molds. Any brass tools and the rubber mallet are located on the shadow board above the compression molding station. In the far left corner, the phenolic powder resin is located in a small brown barrel. All compression molds are stored in the cabinet below the workstation. For this demonstration, we'll be using the panel mold. Silicone mold release should be located near the compression molder. If not, be sure to check the rotomolding station or the flammables cabinet. And be sure to have a boat scooper handy. To turn power on to the machine, pull out the red stopper button. Flip on Platen 1 and Platen 2 heating elements. Set a desired temperature on the temperature dials. To decrease the time it takes for the platens to warm up, close the press to reduce heat loss by pressing the green buttons with two-handed safety control. Remove the mold of your choice from the cabinet below the workstation. 333 students can use the dish, tensile, or panel molds. Inspect the two mold halves for any foreign matter. If necessary, clean the mold using copper wool or by scraping it away from your body with a brass scraper. Spray the mold with silicone mold release. To apply the mold release, shake can well, then remove the lid. With the nozzle 6 to 10 inches from the surface of the mold, spray thin, even coats onto the mold surfaces. Apply mold release anywhere the resin will have contact with the mold during the molding process. Be sure to not spray it onto the floor as it is dangerously slippery. Once mold release is dry, close your mold by being careful not to slide the surfaces across each other. This could remove the mold release. To open the platens on the machine, press the yellow Open Clamp button. While wearing hot gloves, pick up the mold and center it on the bottom platen. Keeping all appendages clear, close the platens by using the two-handed safety control buttons. Be sure to keep pressing until the press stops automatically when it is closed all the way. To begin resin preparation, scoop a substantial amount from the barrel of phenolic powder resin at the compression station. Then grab your bolt mold scooper and head to the analysis lab. Please realize that there are some calculations of resin weight required for the basic molds directly on the compression molder. Place your boat scoop on the scale and tare its mass. Measure out the correct weight of resin based on your calculations. When you are finished, pick up everything that was brought into the analysis lab and return it to the compression molding bench. Be sure to not spill any phenolic powder. Now it is time to begin the molding cycle. Clear off your work area so that the hot mold can be placed on the bench, opened, and then filled with phenolic powder. The platens should be up to their proper temperature. Open them by pressing the yellow button. The next steps are to be done as quickly as possible while still using safe procedures. The purpose in doing them quickly is to not allow the mold to cool a considerable amount. Wearing hot gloves, remove the mold from the press and set it on the table. After opening your mold, it is time to get the boat scoop full of resin. Pour the resin into the bottom or concave cavity of the mold. Being careful not to spill, be sure to spread the resin throughout the cavity as evenly as possible. Carefully close the mold, being sure that it is properly aligned. Load the mold back into the compression molder. Close the platens by pressing the two green buttons at the same time and keep clear of the moving platens. Set the pressure accordingly so that the press keeps the pressure constant all throughout the cycle. Now that your mold is under pressure, set a timer to keep track of how long the mold is closed. Once your mold has been under pressure for the appropriate amount of time, about 4 or 5 minutes for phenolic powder, the mold can be removed from the press. With hot gloves, open the press and remove the mold. After placing it on the workbench, you can open the mold using only brass tools. Place them between the gap between the two mold halves. A rubber mallet may be necessary. Use caution when removing parts from the mold. The part may not be fully cured and may easily break. For best results, allow the part to cool before removing it from the mold. Using a brass scraper, get under the edge of the part and slowly pry the completed part up. The most important aspect of any project in the plastics lab is cleanup. Clean your mold surface with a brass scraper or copper wool, which is kept at the rotor molding station. Remove all plastic residues that remain stuck to the mold, and dispose of them properly. Once your mold is cooled off, return the mold to the cabinet. Return any boat scrapers to wherever they were found originally in the lab. Place any brass scrapers, pry bars, and the mallet in their proper locations on the shatter board. Place the silicone mold release near the back of the bench, and clean up any or all powder that was spilt and dispose of it in the trash can. Also, do not forget to return your hot gloves back to the rotor molding station drawer. And finally, flip platens 1 and 2 switches off and press the red stop button.